What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. Y'all know I'm majorly late today, so please excuse my tardiness today. But it's been a long morning. Part of having to, well, not long, but having to. We did our deliveries today for the McKenzie Pantry Foundation. For those of you that want to connect with our foundation, we would love to have you connect with us. I'll put the link in the comment section for you there in case you want to make a donation. Yes, I will say that here. You want to make a donation to the foundation. The McKenzie Pantry Foundation, for those that may not know, it is a food pantry foundation that we had that my family has, that my sister started. Um, and it actually, we are in 2 schools, and we assist underserved communities with food. We provide them with food, weekly food, or not weekly food, but weekend food, weekly, if you make that make sense. So, but we feed families in the communities that we are a part of, that the foundation is a part of. We do it because of the heart that my sister has for kids and for the community. So I'll put that link in the comment section for you if you want to make donations. We greatly appreciate it, even if it's canned foods. We take non-perishable items. If you have, we take clothing, gently used clothing as well. And any other, we're getting ready for our back to school drive too. So if you want to donate some school supplies, that would be great as well too. We'd love to have you do that. Just if you want to connect with us, you'll be able to connect through the link as well, to be able to do that, because we're getting ready to students will be getting ready to go back to school really soon, because we're at the beginning of August now. So they'll be back in school by the end of August, 1st of September. So that's that. So y'all know what it is. It's Finish Strong Friday. That's what we do on Fridays. We finish strong. So y'all know I had to be here because I got to finish strong. Part of me finishing strong is showing up each and every day, even when the obstacles and challenges come across us. Speaking of challenges, I got one for y'all next week, so I'll mention that in a second. But let's get to this. We've been talking about all this week. We've been talking about own it. And we've been talking about the 5 ownership decisions that every leader must make. And today we're talking about own your legacy. You got to own your legacy. You don't let anyone else own your legacy. And here's one of my I am statements is, I am building my legacy every day. I want you saying that you are building your legacy every single day. So what are you doing to build your legacy today? So let's get into this. Y'all know we've been using the backdrop of Ray Charles, the movie Ray. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a phenomenal movie. But this time I want you to watch it from a business man standpoint, because Ray Charles didn't just create music. He didn't just create music. It wasn't just him and his music. He changed the music industry. When we talked about own your intellectual property. That was Ray. He was the one. Ray Charles was the one that said, "Hey, if you want me to come sign with you, I think I'm gonna have to own my masters." And they at the time said, "Well, nobody's ever done that." He was. This is in real perspective. When he did that, he made the move to own his masters. He was making more, I think, with his masters than at that time than Frank Sinatra was making a better deal. Because even the guy in the movie says, when he goes back to Atlantic to see if they can match it, the guy says, "That's a better deal than Sinatra has." So that's what we mean when we say he changed the music industry. He showed folks that yes, you can own your masters, that you can own your intellectual property, that you can own your legacy. He owns that legacy of Ray Charles that is still to this day out here. That's his legacy, and nobody can tarnish it. His ownership decisions continue producing value decades later. Decades later, Michael Jackson. Y'all know the movie that just came out, Michael, right? It was about him. His nephew played him in the movie, but Michael, that movie grossed over $1 billion. So yes, Michael Jackson's legacy gets a piece of that right there because it's his name, it's his image, it's his likeness. That's legacy. That's how you own your legacy. That's how you own your legacy. And here's what I want you to think about. Every leader should ask this question. I want you to ask this question and ponder it over the weekend. What are you what are you building? What are you building that will continue after you're gone? What are you building that will continue after you're gone? What is it that people will remember you by? That's something that you've left on this earth that makes something better, that makes people better after you're gone, long after you're gone. Like I tell people, your book, I tell authors this, your book will outlive you. This will outlive me. This right here will outlive me. This is part of my legacy. This is part of me owning my legacy. No one owns my books but me. That's me. I own that legacy. That is my legacy. And here's what I want you to think about when it comes to owning your legacy. Here are the things that I want you to think about. What legacy are you creating or have you created? What legacy have you created? And when you talk about legacy, what is it that you want people to remember you for? I talk about all the time. Y'all hear me talk about the Marriotts. Well, Mr. Original Marriott, which happened years and years and years and years ago, his legacy to this day, you ride around and his name is on a hotel. That's his legacy. Reginald F. Lewis. When you think about him, you think about his legacy of being the first black billionaire and conducting the deal. This right here, if you haven't read this book, every business person needs to read this book. Why should white men have all the fun? This is a story about Reginald F. Lewis. If you don't know his story, you need to know that story and understand that's legacy. So what legacy are you creating? What benefits, who benefits from you existing? Whose life have you made better because of their encounter with you? Y'all hear me say it all the time, and this is why I say this, because that's part of my legacy. Is I want to make you 1% better. My assignment is always to make people 1% better. That's how I can say people are better because I exist. Because I existed. Because if they didn't have that encounter with me, then they wouldn't be that 1% better. They wouldn't be better by the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year. And then what will continue producing impact after you're gone? My books, the concepts and frameworks and all of those things that I've created, that will outlive me. That's something that people, because the people that I've assisted are now using what it is that I poured into them. So that's how you own your legacy. That's how you build your legacy. That's how you protect your legacy, because your name is on it. So out of everything that we talked about this week, and when I talk about what we've talked about this week, the things that we've gotten from this week, and we talked about we've talked about the own your identity, own your gift, own your intellectual property, own your own your business, and then own your legacy. How do you own, or how are you owning your legacy? Because here's the thing about owning your legacy. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You'll when you own your identity, no one can tell you who you are. When you own your gift, no one can use your gift. When you own your intellectual property, no one can steal it from you. When you own your when you own your assets, you actually give the ability to give yourself options, and then you create your legacy. You're creating a legacy that outlives you. And here's the thing about that, because you got to understand that your legacy is ownership, and it extends far beyond your lifetime. Like I mentioned, the Rockefellers and all the people that you hear me talk about all the time. That's their legacy. Every single thing that I just talked about this week, they've encompassed, from identity to intellectual property to their business to their legacy. They own it. I want you to own it. So you got to own your legacy this week. You got to own it. So that's what I want you to be able to have and own this week. If you want to see the whole week, you can go to your YouTube channel. They're right there. You can watch each day. They're not long. They're less than 15 minutes. And I purposely do that to just give you a little nugget, something that you can take with you during the day to be able to learn and know and work towards each and every day to make you better. Because what? Here is where you get assisted to master your craft, master your industry, and master the marketplace at an elite level. And when you do that, it prepares you for a bigger stage and a broader audience, a bigger network, and a grander grander business ecosystem. That's what I want you to have. That's part of your legacy. What's that business ecosystem that you're building? What's that network that you're building that is a part of your legacy? So that's the Impact Builder. That's what I got for you this week. Next week, in addition to our podcast, I'm doing it. Next week is our 5-day challenge. I'm gonna have a 5-day challenge for you next week. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, but we're gonna have that. So be ready to tune in twice next week. We'll do our podcast in the morning, and in the afternoon we'll do the 5-day challenge for you. It's the Impact Builder. Happy Friday to you. I know it's late in the afternoon. Day is pretty much gone. I want you to enjoy your evening. Have some fun. As I always tell you, do something fun. This weekend, the football camp are in. The Ravens are in camp. I wanted to go and see one of the practices, but it's not near here. So they're doing the practices, I guess, out in Westminster somewhere. The one game that I thought would be downtown at the stadium is going to be at College Park. So can't go, not going out to College Park to be able to watch it. That's for them folks down there, I guess. And when they bring it back here, we'll have it here. So do something fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you all on Monday. Impact Builder, we out. Peace.